731. I think they might have gone. I've been very, very quiet, been listening to music, hitting a few just to sort of take the edge off. My friends have kind of been eaten, they're all dead. But looking out the window, I can't see anything, and I'll give those fuckers a run for my money. Their money even. The issue is, it's been 700 days, and I like talking, you see. That's the thing. I enjoy talking. I mean, I enjoy singing, I enjoy talking, and it gets very, very fucking frustrating. Oh, Hi everyone, it's Nick here speaking to you from criticalhit.net, and this evening we're going to be looking at the brand new John Krasinski movie, A Quiet Place. Yeah, this movie is phenomenal. I'm just going to go straight to it and say it's fucking great. I don't often go into movies expecting nothing. I did kind of go in here expecting it to be another one of those like Blair Witch Project movies or another Cloverfield, which is very similar to a Cloverfield movie. It may as well actually be a Cloverfield movie, but this is better than, quite frankly, all of the Cloverfield movies, except for maybe 10 Cloverfield Lane, and I'd say it's on the same level. This movie blew me away. It is beautifully directed, and bearing in mind this is Krasinski's third movie, the first two being these small little indies that he made that weren't that well received. They're on 6.5% on IMDb, etc. This movie it's quite a big undertaking for someone who is, like I say, quite wet behind the ears when it comes to directing. Of course, he's very, very well known for his role in The Office, the American version, and he was also in 13 Hours in Benghazi, and he pulled that off. I mean, the guy got ripped. I mean, he got really, really ripped. So, you know, an actor who has only sort of appeared on the scene in the past 5 years, he's done bloody well. Hats off to you, mate. Seriously, really impressed. Did not expect it to be this well done. The directing is tight. The camera work is phenomenal. The lighting is beautiful. The sound score is horrifically brilliant. Not in a bad sense, trust me. It's so well done at building tension. And in a movie that has almost no sound, the music that does come in, it's designed beautifully. Then he knew exactly what he was doing with the sound score when he was bringing it in here. And the sound effects are on the level of James Cameron, Ridley Scott, and I'm talking about like Alien here. Because this is set with monsters in a monster universe, much like a sort of Cloverfield universe. I'll get to the plot just now. I'm just talking, accolades. All of them are spilling over me right now for John. And like I say, he stars as Lee. That's the character's name. I'm going to forget his on-screen wife's name because he actually stars alongside Emily Blunt, who is his wife in real life. So she's Evelyn and he's Lee. This is a married couple, and they've got 3 kids, played superbly by the oldest is Millicent Simmons. She plays Regan. She's the oldest. She's a daughter, the only daughter they have. She has an ear implant because she's deaf. Everyone uses sign language, which is just as well. Also makes story narrative sense that they were learning to do sign language for the daughter before this whole situation happened. We'll get to that just now. The other kid is Cade Woodard. He's the youngest, and then we've got Noah Jupe, who plays Marcus, who is the oldest of the boys. And yeah, they were really, really great. It's interesting to see kids in a movie like this, which is terrifying. It's suspenseful. It is thrilling. It builds anxiety. If you didn't have anxiety issues, you're going to be popping back those purr blockers after watching this. My God, my heart was going like this, and I hadn't even had salt. Geez, it was an experience. It really was an experience, and a very delightful experience in the sense that I thought that we might all die, because it really is absolutely terrifying. It's the scariest movie I've seen, and I have seen lots of horror movies that I've been disappointed with. I do enjoy the Conjuring series, though they're not very scary. I don't think most horrors with ghosts are. Now, this is where I may as well go into some of the story. I might mention some spoilers at the end of this. I'm not sure if I'm going to yet, but because going into this movie, it's nice to know nothing. I know there are people out there who want to know because they feel like they're being cheated, or they feel like they need to be in control, but I might say something later, and I'll certainly warn you guys before. I do highly recommend, though, that if I do turn it off, go in there with not knowing anything. I knew nothing. I saw only the teaser trailer for it. I didn't even see the trailer that dropped a couple of weeks ago, the full trailer. So this takes place in 2020. It looks like the world has been ravaged by what appears to be monsters, and these monsters hunt by sound. So the best way to not be their food is to not make a bloody sound. And unlike Breathe, which I didn't think was, sorry, Don't Breathe, which is a good movie, but it just wasn't stressful for me. It wasn't stressful. This really is. It's also very clever because a lot of mechanics come out. So Regan can't hear, so it's wonderful to actually see, it jumps to her, and you see her looking around the world, and of course everything is silent, it's deathly silent, while maybe pandemonium or mayhem is happening in the background, or maybe some of these creatures are roaming around the background. So that I really liked. It was nice being able to mix it up like that, because deathly silence, then bringing it up a little bit where you actually see some of the characters. They do get to talk, don't worry. You're not going to be sitting there having to read everything the whole time. And then jumping into what is happening inside her head, quite literally. So yes, I really enjoyed that. The sound design in this is fantastic. Also, as I mentioned earlier briefly, it is very much like a Cloverfield, in the sense that you are thrown in at the beginning. It starts in a supermarket. They're just collecting or foraging, or whatever you want to call it, essentials. I think one of the boys has a fever and he gets some medicine, and of course everything has to be very quiet. They walk on designated little places. The father has put sand down, as I say. So yes, that it throws you right in. You don't get one of these montages of, I don't know, CNN or BBC saying the world the end is nigh. But what you do get is in the basement, in Lee's sort of, I suppose, office, if you want to call it that, where he has a whole bunch of computer monitors, with infrared cameras for nighttime, is newspaper clippings on the wall. One of them stating quite boldly, what was it? American military falls, you're on your own, or something to that end. And there's a lot of these little things. He also has his own little mind map, sort of, I think it was aliens, armor, how to hurt them, the number in their in particular area where they're living, this kind of thing. So he's trying to figure out how to defend his family against us, and that's what this entire thing is about. It's about defending his family. And I don't want to go into spoilers right now, which I could easily go into. As I said, maybe at the end. But the acting here is solid. The kids are phenomenal. They really, really are. I have to point out that Emily Blunt is not the main sort of lead here, but she definitely carries it along with John. And the two of those two together, you can see that they are married, because the compassion that does not need words, or the warmth, there's a few scenes of sort of warmth between them, is really stirring. It's quite nice. It's very nice to see, especially when everything is so cold and repressive because of the the no sound. And it really did actually make quite a big difference. The audience that we were with, they arrived quite late, as a matter of fact. A lot of people getting there late because they were trying to pick up their popcorn or whatever. And the moment they sat down, it takes a while for you to get into the movie. They instantly, well not instantly, but very quickly were quiet, because everything on the screen was quiet. And so you're sort of sitting there going, what the hell's going on here? And it's delightful to actually see a movie do that. Not many movies pull you in and terrify you at the same time. So, as I say, the director, John, who's only done 3 movies, really, really brilliant job over here. So this is going to, okay, I'm going to give this an 8.5 out of 10, of course. You can see what Kervin has to say below. And I'm going to go into slight spoiler territory now. It's not going to give you any endings away or anything like that, okay? But the reason I was talking about the tenderness between the main characters, the husband and the wife, it starts, the first thing you see is 89 days later, and then it shows them, the whole family trying to get things in the supermarket. So this is 89 days after, I suppose, day 0, when these monsters have come out of nowhere. And you see the first part happen here, okay? It then jumps forward to day 400 and something or other. I didn't quite catch what number it was. And she's heavily pregnant. So this is obviously going to make things a little bit difficult, because, giving birth is not exactly a quiet affair. It's not something you have on in the background while Netflixing. So, yeah, everyone in the audience is just like, you can see and feel what they're thinking, which I thought was delightful. It was really, really quite funny. So, yeah, she has to give birth, and she has to be extremely quiet about it, because these creatures are attracted by sound. I didn't want to mention, just before this, I didn't want to mention the creatures too much, because it's fun to sort of see them finally, and you only see them about halfway through. You see them in the foliage, you see them through the woods, and you hear them around. You do get to see them fully. Much like horror movies, which don't really work very well, you're terrified for the first 3 quarters, and then suddenly you see the monster, and you're kind of like, okay, but that's what the horror is, there we go. And that's why a lot of horror movies I don't like, because they always fail in the last furlong. The last quarter, the movies sort of implode on themselves. This didn't. It really does not. In fact, you're going to be sitting tense until the last minute of this movie. And not even the last minute, the last second of this movie, you're going to be stressed out. And it's a good stress. It really is a great stress. The acting is phenomenal in this. The kids are great. I was worried it was going to go down to Stranger Things territory. It certainly didn't. Of course, with a lead like Emily Blunt, you're going to get a superb performance from her. And yes, and from John as well. He does a very good performance. He's not sitting in the background rolling his eyes at Steve Carell's character in The Office now. No, he's certainly picking up some acting chops here. I think the last thing I saw him in was 13 Hours in Benghazi when I was in Kenya. Not really fun time to watch something like that. But anyway, so yeah, I think the movie is fantastic. The only downside is a lot of people say that it borrowed tropes from a lot of the other movies. And I think to a certain degree, yes, that is true. But much like Far Cry 5, where a lot of the elements have been, they've been there for before, they just polished them so well. It's the same as Horizon Zero Dawn if you're a gamer. Everything's been done before, but it's just polished so well. And this movie, it really is so well directed that even though there are scenes that look like they've been pulled straight from Alien, or scenes that look very much like M. Night Shyamalan things named from Signs. Yes, there's a lot of things like that put together that kind of feel that you've seen them before, generic even. But with the tension in the background, the lack of sound in a lot of the scenes, and then when sound does come, you suddenly kind of, it shocks you. And of course with the story and what happens in the story too, it definitely separates itself from the more generic movies that are out there. And I'm not going to say that The Conjuring is generic or Annabelle and stuff, but those movies, they certainly are tense in certain situations. This is tense the whole way through. And you really feel bad for the characters because, they get over one thing and it just gets worse and progressively worse. And you're like, God damn it. I think there was one person behind us in the audience who said, I'd just kill myself. If that happened, I would just kill myself. So, if you have a reviewer acting like that, then you're onto a keeper here. So please do go out and watch it. I hope this makes money. It only cost $17 million to make. The aliens, the aliens or the monsters, I'm not quite sure what they are. Like a Cloverfield, you don't know where they came from, what they're there for. Maybe if you watch it again and you pause it with the newspaper clippings in the background, you can maybe piece together something. Not sure. Haven't done it yet because I don't have it. But yeah, I think the aliens are brilliant. They look fantastic. They are formidable. They kind of reminded me of Starship Troopers in the way they walk and stuff. So yeah, absolutely brilliant. And they're terrifying. They really are scary. You're not going to feel particularly happy with one of those things after you won't speak ever again. Yeah, definitely. Those things are fucking terrifying. So yeah, go out and watch it and let us know what you think in the comments below. And have a great weekend.